Most of the time, when I'm about to review a show, if I'm particularly familiar with the creative team and the cast, my instincts will forewarn me if I'm likely to enjoy it or not. Every once in a while, though, I'm entirely surprised. Sometimes it's for the good, other times, well, not. Welcome to episode 38 of One Man's Opinion, where I review theater across Connecticut and New York. Today I will be reviewing Flying Over Sunset, the new musical by Tom Kitt and Michael Korie, with a book and directed by James Lapine, currently running at the Lincoln Center Theater at the Vivian Beaumont at 150 West 65th Street in New York City. I had been looking forward to Flying Over Sunset as soon as I heard about it. I love Tom Kitt and Michael Korie's work, and James Lapine is a legend. I also love the lead cast, Carmen Cusack, Harry Hadden-Paton, and Toni-Leslie. But when I left the theater, I left with about the worst feeling I can have after leaving a show. Indifference. It's the 1950s and LSD is legal. Author and philosopher Aldous Huxley, played by Harry Hadden-Paton, is about to lose his wife, Maria Huxley, played by Laura Shoup, to cancer. Actor Cary Grant, played by Toni-Leslie, is about to be divorced for the third time. And Congresswoman and author Claire Booth Luce, played by Carmen Cusack, is grieving the death of her daughter Anne, played by Kenesha Marie Feliciano, and her mother, whose real name is Anna, but is credited as Austin, which is one of her married last names, and probably used to allay any confusion with Anne, played by Michelle Ragusa. Both women died in car crashes, and Claire is still dealing with the grief. Huxley, Grant, and Luce all experiment with LSD individually in the first act, and at the behest of Claire, they come together in the second act with a fourth member of the party, historian Gerald Hurd, played by Robert Sella, who also provides the foursome with the drug, to her Santa Monica home to fly over Sunset Boulevard, or the sunset of the Pacific, if you will, on an LSD trip. Conceptually, with this premise, there's a lot of potential for Flying Over Sunset, and there are shining moments. Toni-Leslie gets to show off his stellar tap dancing skills in the first act song Funny Money, which he performs with his younger self Archie, played by Atticus Ware, who is no slouch either as a tap dancer at such a young age. Harry Hadden-Paton has a beautiful number the music plays on during a vision of his now-deceased wife in the second act, and Claire gets a beautifully conceived sequence where she goes to heaven to visit her mom and daughter, culminating in a show-stopping howl. But as far as the story goes, the whole is not greater than the sum of its parts. The moments are brilliantly conceived. The design is incredible. The design, particularly the projection design by 59 Productions, is dynamic, brilliant, and surreal. The one moment where it doesn't work was during Cary Grant's hope for performing with Sophia Loren, presumably for the film Houseboat. The video on the screen is oddly static and repetitive compared to the rest of the show's projections. But trying to cohesively make the story have any sense of fulfillment with how much weight each character is carrying by using LSD as its accelerant doesn't work. Ironically, I think Flying Over Sunset would work better if it didn't take itself so seriously. I know that doesn't sound right, but hear me out. The plot is a total work of fiction outside of the fact that they all used LSD at some point in their lives. The four of them never got together to have this experience in real life. But putting heavy dramatic issues in these characters' lives for them to address during their respective trips made their experiences feel cheap. And as a person who has a fair number of friends with serious mental health issues, it kind of cheapened how important actual professional mental health care is. I think there are two ways Flying Over Sunset could have been better. Either make it a completely zany comedy that doesn't take itself seriously, or address the seriousness of the mental health issues all three characters are dealing with in a way that acknowledges that something more than an acid trip is a way to dealing with it. One thing I should note, as an aside, I saw this on December 19th. The house was about, I would estimate, 70 to 80% full. I suspect due to cancellations in response to the COVID-19 Omicron variant spike currently going on in New York City. Now, I'm not your daddy, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I highly encourage everyone to use your best risk assessment when it comes to going to the theater right now. Yes, I wasn't impressed with Flying Over Sunset, but I'd hate to see it close before its time. If you choose to cancel, it's totally understandable and I respect that choice. But if at all possible, don't ask for a refund. Reschedule for another night or donate it to someone else who is willing to go or sell it to someone who's willing to go. The cast and crew of this show and other shows are walking a tightrope right now when it comes to their careers and their health. And they need us now more than ever to not take the money back. Help out those performers and those artists and those stage crew members who are depending on us to sustain their livelihood. And that is one man's opinion of Flying Over Sunset, currently running at Lincoln Center Theater at the Vivian Beaumont. Be sure to leave your opinion in the comments below. If you're interested in tickets, I'll leave a link in the description. If you like this review, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to be notified when future reviews are released. I am finished reviewing theater for 2021. Hopefully this Omicron variant will have blown over by the time I come back to the theater, but I am already scheduling shows for next year. If things stay scheduled the way they are, my next review will either be Angry, Raucous, and Shamelessly Gorgeous at Hartford Stage or the Broadway production of Skeleton Crew. So stay safe, have a happy holiday, happy New Year, and I'll see you at the theater.